really like using Trump as an interesting token because there's a lot of interesting activity. And I know that in the past day, there was a huge sell-off, so that was yesterday. And so one of the workflows that I really like to show off in finding Memecoin traders is something I just showed last week and will continue to show throughout office hours. And so if you know there's been a large price movement with our charts, we do it by the day, but we know there was that huge dip with Trump after the news, but the price seems to be bought up and we can see there's significant volume. So we want to know who were these addresses that bought this dip, and when they bought this dip, what do they do? So what you can do is literally just go to the who bought section. So when you search token, in this case Mega, we go to who bought. You can select smart money if you're only interested in smart money, and within the top 24 hours, who are the top buyers. What you can also do is custom timeframes. So let's say if we zoom out, for example, and we said, hey, I want to know who these top buyers are between the 2nd of May to the 9th of May, because I want to know who caught the move. That can be really, really interesting. So actually, let's do that because I think that's a better example of what we can be doing. So the 2nd of May till the 10th of May. So I'd go here and I would put the dates in that I'm interested in. And so now I'm only looking at addresses that bought within this time frame. The amount of Trump that you can see through here, you can see what's going on there. And that's really interesting to see who these buyers are. And now you can see them all listed through here. And then what we can see here is all these addresses. And there's a really interesting label here that is from Friendtech. I find this to be really useful because you can use this as a way to determine how good an address is, because you can see that handle and stuff like that, which is really, really interesting. And so what we can see here are a bunch of interesting addresses. So let's hover over. So you can see this address is worth 1.8 million. So we press Command click. And when you do Command click, you can open up into a new tab and that'll show you something, show you that address. And I think it's really useful that you do this so that you can go through the addresses first before you dive in. And the reason why I'm looking at these addresses is because Trump is a meme coin. And none of the tokens most of the tokens that I cover on office hours are ones that I don't hold. If I do hold a token, I'll make it very clear in this episode or the episode that I'm covering it in. I don't own Trump. It's one of those coins that you keep seeing. You go, oh, should I get it around here? No, maybe. Oh, then it goes down here. Maybe it's the opportunity. Then it goes up. It goes down, up and down, up and down. So it's always tricky, but it's always interesting to see the interesting addresses that buy. And again, because there's a Friendtech label here, this could be really interesting, especially considering they bought an awful lot. And then we're just going to continue going through this first page here, high balance. What we really want to look for is, say, a token millionaire that says they're worth a lot of money. We also want to see labels like a DEX trader, maybe a smart money label, an ENS, maybe a connection to Friendtech. It kind of shows that they're a real person. And also another label that's really good to cover is like a bigger, I can never ever get this right, banana gun users. So I'm just going to click straight into here and we're going to see what they're doing. And so if you don't know, we have labels all throughout Nansen, and some of them are for these Telegram bots. For example, Banana Gun or Maestro or Unibot. We also have something that we could potentially launch as well for Photon. So if you're using Base, for example, and you're using Photon, we could add a label for that so you can see the most profitable Photon users. And if you don't know what Photon is, it's again another trading bot, but most people use it from Solana or Base. And so what we see here is that this address has been climbing very, very highly, and they have made a lot of money off this one specific token, NMT. I don't know what this token is here, but if we go here in this trade highlights, we can see that in the last 90 days, they have made 1,400% on Blender, 1,124% on this token Tor, 145% on G in US. And if we look at all time, let's see if there's any other big ones here. We can see on Grok, they made 276%, AEGIS, 200%. So we've seen quite a lot of wins already. And this is the first address we found. And just for people who are coming to office hours, the way that we found this address was that we looked at a meme coin. The meme coin that we're looking into is Trump. I picked that coin because I was going to look at the last 24 hours to find traders that bought Trump, because we saw that big price dip. So who bought the dip and then went from there. But we saw there was an interesting price movement. I wanted to show the who bought, who sold widget over a custom time frame. And the first address that we've gone into, and the reason we looked into this address was because of this label. and we can see their portfolio is growing substantially. And we can look into what they're currently holding, but let's look into their P&L as that's new. If you can see here, up here, all chains, everything is multi-chain, which is really, really useful and really insightful. And so we can see the return on investment for all these different tokens. So we can see a theme. We can see they've made money off Trump. They made 26%. That's not too exciting relative to the other holdings like Blender. They made 152% off RFK Jr. by the looks of things. If we look at the unrealized holdings as well, we can see that they are currently up 244% on this Memecoin, as well as Marv and a few other things here and there. It's important to note, there's some also really useful stats here. The win rate, the higher the win rate, the better. Typically, when you're looking for Memecoin traders, especially ones that are making consistent trades, we can see this here that within the last 90 days, they traded 68 tokens, 437 trades on those tokens. So they could be buying more tokens, doubling down positions, stuff like that. We don't know their behavior just yet because we need to look into the token activity. And we do this by using wallet profile per token that I'll dive into in just a bit. And so we see some big wins. They've had some losses, but I would say, what is that? So that's 21,000. So all these losses, all their top losses all time, aren't that big relative to, aren't that large relative to their largest win, or even their second. Oh, it's about the same as their second largest win, which is really interesting to see. So they do have losses, like Keki, like whatever. They're just picking up on themes, and yeah. So what we would do here, for example, is we can do a number of things. So we found this address, and we might find that this address is really interesting, and we don't know what to do just yet, but we might want to see what else they're buying in real time. So we could add the address to our watch list and then set up custom labels. We can set custom labels up based on behavior. We can set custom labels up on the token that attracted us to them. And we can leave a note to describe why we like this address. And I find it really useful to do behavioral labels as well as what caught your attention. And the reason why we do this is so that you can just understand what's going on. If you're looking for specific behaviors, you can apply that across Nansen. So it doesn't have to be, let's say, a Memecoin trader, but you could be finding addresses that buy early, for example, and have a label that says buys token early. And then if you're tracking those tokens, those addresses, sorry, and you see them buying a new token or building a new position, that could be really interesting or really insightful based on the smart alerts and the information that you've already done. So the more work that you put in, the more you get out.